So I was working. I was sitting at my desk on September 11, 2001, and that's what got me to the Guard. And I started flying and switched over to flight ops. And before 9/11, what got me to flying, I was working as an engineer in for Delta, and it was all just a big cube farm. It would have a little 8x8 cloth box, and the success was just having drywall. If you can get to drywall, right, that was success. And if you had a door, forget about it. Right? I mean, but I'm older than most guys my range, just because I was almost 30 actually when I started flying.
Really?
So this is a true story. So when I got hired, I actually got hired by the 908 next door, flying C-130s. And when they hired me, I had 0.0 flight hours. I'd never been in the controls of an airplane. And the way the pilot board works in the Air Force is they send your application up. Most people aren't sponsored with a reserve or a guard unit. They're just trying to get into flight school, so they review all these. When you go up sponsored with the guard or reserve unit, it's a guaranteed pass. Like, oh, someone already wants this guy, right? So it's almost just a signature and then you move on. Well, mine was rejected, which was unheard of for a sponsored package to get rejected because I had no flight time. So I went out and I paid for 6 flight hours. Are you guys familiar with I think they call it the TBAS now? It comes out, 0 to 5 flight hours doesn't change your PIXM score, but 6 to 10 bumped me up 10 points. So I paid for 6 flight hours to get to that 6 to 10 range, and to this day, those are the only flight hours I've ever paid for. Everything else, not only have I not paid for them, but I've been paid to fly every other minute of flight time. Sadly, that's not the case anymore. Those days are kind of gone. You can't really do that anymore, but I guess that's why we have the scholarship to help out with some of that. So it's great to be home. So I don't know if I had a son while I was deployed. I don't know if you knew that. I have 2 girls. So I was going, man, 3 girls. So oh man, tell me, I have one who's like a preteen, scaring the crap out of you, man. Now boys are in the picture, right? I don't like that. Red Tail Scholarship Fund is hugely important. Hugely important. And I don't think you guys even realize the scope of what we're hoping to make the scholarship and why, Colonel Sparrow and I kind of started putting this thing together. But right now, 2%, I fly for Delta as well as flying here, right? So 2% of the commercial airline pilots are African American. And 2% of the military pilots, military aviation is African American. There's a pretty big discrepancy there. And I think the reason for that discrepancy, in my opinion, is just a very, very limited lack of exposure to the aviation industry. Growing up in an Air Force family, both my parents were Air Force officers, living on bases, watching airplanes take off and land every single day. Even in that environment, I had very, very little exposure to aviation. It was just, there was there's a bunch of guys who fly airplanes. It looks like a lot of fun, but it was never something that I thought was, for me, it was available for me. So, and that's really what the scholarship is about. We're trying to change that. So not only are we trying to get more African Americans, men and women flying airplanes, interested in careers in aviation, but it's also about the exposure. So now your brothers and your sisters and your neighbors and your friends and the kids you guys go talk to, right? One day you're going to be sitting on this side of the table with 5, young guys making you feel old. On the other side of the table, you're going to be telling them, why aviation is important to you and what it's done for you and things like that. So my goal, by the time this whole thing's said and done, if that number goes from 2% to 3%, I'll die a happy man. I feel like that I would have made a difference. And that's really what it's about, finding the next group of young men to replace me and Colonel Sparrow. And dude, when I first showed up there, I was the only African American pilot in this squadron, right? We were the 1/6 at the time, and we became the 100,000 lieutenant. So I've been, part of the 100th Fire Squadron here in Montgomery since its inception here. And I was the only one. There had been 2 other black pilots before me at different stages in time, but I was the only guy for 15 years. I've been in the squadron. I've been the only black pilot. If you look around this base, dude, all the support, all the enlisted, I'm making up numbers here, but I would bet 70% of this base is black. You know what I mean? And we have 1 African American pilot. So, and if you look around this part of the state and the country, I mean, we have African American, young, smart, talented guys like you everywhere, and they're all going to be doctors and lawyers and all great professions, but just no one has this exposure to aviation. So that's why we're here. So hopefully, when I'm an old guy, old gray tail, retired out of this place, and come back, maybe there's 4, 5, 6 of us, and I'll just sit back and smile, like, yeah, like what we did, right? It'll be awesome. You guys got questions for me or anything you want to talk about? Flying stuff? Try to remember flying a Cessna, but it was a long time ago. That's what needs to happen. I need to have one of you guys take me out and flying around the flagpole.
Yeah, Swapper said you only fly if someone else is buying the fuel.
Yeah, that's right. That's the best way to do it. all the fuel that I've flown has been bought by either the taxpayers or by Delta Airlines, so it's been pretty good.
So how did you get call named Sheriff?
You want to have this on camera? We'll just say the short version is, have you guys ever seen the movie Blazing Saddles? You probably haven't. It's kind of an old movie.
I have.
It's a Blazing Saddles reference. So during my naming, I threw out a couple of lines from that movie that were appropriate at the time, and it kind of stuck. So everyone, it was like the light bulb. They kind of like, why did we not think of this before, Sheriff? So my last name being Peace kind of helped.
The deal.
Yeah, sealed the deal basically. So yeah, I'll tell you the full version of that later. But
Off the record.
yeah, maybe down at the Aviator Bar for a beer or something.
I worked at a nuclear power plant for like 3 years doing mechanical stuff. Other than that, all I've done is aerospace stuff. But at least you're not a civil engineer. So we got that. You guys know the difference between civil engineers and mechanical
They
engineers?
don't care. They all want to do it all.
Civil engineers that do like buildings and surveying.
No, that's not it.
No.
Aren't they about the same?
What?
Aren't they about the same? What they did?
No, they're totally different. So mechanical engineers build weapons. Civil engineers build targets. That's really the difference. That's the way I look at it. So tell all your civils. Tell them I appreciate them building some target stuff for me to blow up. Is much appreciated.
I think Reggie might have told me. Didn't you say you used to play for the Cowboys or something?
Yeah, a long time ago. Did he tell you that?
Yeah.
I didn't know you know that. I don't. Yeah.
The Cowboys?
Yeah, it was a long time.
Oh, it might have been Colonel Stroh who told me you used to play for the Cowboys. I can't remember who told me. Someone.
Well, to be fair, I didn't. I played 2 preseason games before I was cut. So
What position you play?
wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran the second fastest 40 at the combine.
Yeah. He said you played with Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
that was
he was awesome. Deion was awesome. Yeah, he's probably the best receiver coach I ever had. He would go out there and he would always work with the rookies, which is awesome. And he would just go out there and just D us up, man. But he would tell you everything you're doing wrong while he was covering you. Every little thing you did wrong, he would just say, "Oh, you just did that, you just did that, you did that." He just point them out to you, and then he would just make you look foolish at the same time. Like it's kind of like Colonel Everson, looking over his shoulder, telling me my airspeed. Those are just unique talents, and Deion's definitely one of those unique talents, man. Yeah, I was don't get me wrong, I was happy to be down there, but I was a little bit disappointed because I don't think we had 32 teams in the league yet. I think there were 30 at the time. But I could have gone to like 28 teams and been the fastest guy on the roster, and they sent me to Dallas. But, I was happy to be there. Ended up playing a couple years in the CFL. I got cut. That preseason went to Winnipeg, to the middle of no place, Canada. Played a couple CFL seasons, and that was it. Got back to my engineering life. But, this is, as far as getting on commercial, like, it has never been easier than it's going to be for you to get there. 5 years from now, you can be doing what I'm doing. You could be in the right seat of the 767 going to, terrible places like Paris and London and it's awful. Yeah, I mean, like it happens. It's amazing how fast it happens. So, I grew up in Denver, home of the Super Bowl 50 champion Denver Broncos. When I started snowboarding, there was no PSIA system. It was just me and my buddies just had these little plastic pieces of crap that we just taught ourselves how to snowboard on, And then, my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he's a medic, and in the Army Air Corps before it was even the Air Force. And his daughter, my mom, is also Air Force veteran.
So, but man, when he walked out, and it was my solo cross country, and so he walked out there and he was kind of looking around. He's super proud to see his grandson flying an airplane. You know, and he's looking around. He's like, "Well, who else is with you?" You know, like it's just we call him Chief. Like it's just me, Chief. I'm the only one. He thought that was the most amazing thing. That is, you know, that as a grandson, a black pilot flew an airplane by himself into Silicon, Alabama. So he thought it was the most amazing thing ever. So I mean, honestly, he probably thought he'd never see that in his day, you know. So, so that's awesome. Yeah, so keep flying Silicon.